Hey there. If you're a gardener, you know this feeling, right? You've carefully nurtured these perfect little seedlings indoors. They look amazing, but the second you plant them outside, they just give up. It is so frustrating. Well, today we're going to talk about the one simple secret that changes absolutely everything.
It's the question that drives so many of us crazy. You've done everything by the book, your plants look vibrant and healthy, but that move into the garden? It's like it's just too much for them. So what is actually going on here?
Well, that thing that's happening, it has a name. It's called transplant shock. And it's basically the stress a plant gets when it's ripped from its cozy, climate-controlled home and thrown into the wild, unpredictable world of your garden. But here's the good news, it's almost entirely preventable.
Okay, so let's get into the solution. See, the secret isn't just about growing healthy seedlings, it's about training them. You're going to be their personal trainer for the great outdoors. It's a simple technique, but it is so powerful.
And this training process is officially called seedling hardening. All it really is a slow and steady introduction to the real world. You know, a little bit of sun, a little bit of wind, some temperature changes, but all done gradually over time.
Honestly, the best way to think about it is like an athlete training for the big game. You wouldn't just take someone off the couch and have them run a marathon, would you? Of course not. It's the same idea here. You're building up your plant's strength and endurance for the main event, thriving in your garden.
So how does this actually work? I mean, what's happening inside the plant that turns it from this fragile little thing into a tough, resilient survivor? Let's get into the science of it, because it's actually pretty cool.
This whole process gives your seedlings 6 key advantages. It gets them used to the sun so they don't get sunburned. It literally strengthens their stems to handle the wind. It massively reduces that transplant shock we talked about. It even makes them more efficient with water, helps them grow better, and adapt to those swings in temperature. It's the whole package. All right, first up, the sun. A seedling that grew up indoors under a soft light has never felt the full intensity of direct sunlight. Putting it out there too fast is a recipe for disaster. We're talking a serious sunburn. Hardening gives the leaves time to develop a thicker, waxy layer. It's basically the plant's own natural sunscreen.
And get this is a case where a little bit of stress is actually a good thing. That gentle breeze you're exposing them to, it forces the seedling to build stronger cell walls in its stem. It's like a workout for the plant, making it tougher and way less likely to just snap in the wind.
And this right here, this brings us full circle. By pre-adapting the seedling, you basically eliminate that sudden shock. The plant is already familiar with outdoor conditions, so when you finally plant it, it's not a trauma. And because of that, its survival rate just skyrockets. This preparation, it's everything. And the benefits just keep piling on. For example, hardened seedlings get way better at managing water. They actually learn to control these tiny little pores on their leaves to reduce water loss. Think about how important that is once they're out in the ground, right? All of this, stronger stems, better survival, water smarts, it all sets the stage for a much more productive plant. And this is the ultimate payoff. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. A seedling that's been hardened off gets established faster, it grows with more vigor, and as you can see here, it leads to a way higher potential yield. So we've talked about all the good stuff, but what's the alternative? Let's take a look at what happens if you skip this step, because the contrast is pretty stark, and honestly, it's a risk that's just not worth taking.
I mean, look at this. It's a tale of two seedlings. On one side, you've got your hardened plant. It's strong, it's ready, it's going to have a high survival rate and give you a great harvest. And on the other, you've got the unhardened one. It's often wilted, sunburned, and even if it manages to survive, its yield is going to be seriously disappointing.
So let's be crystal clear about the stakes. If you skip hardening, you're looking at burned leaves, plants that wilt at the drop of a hat, stunted growth, a much lower chance of survival, and in the end, a smaller harvest. It's really a domino effect of bad outcomes, all from skipping one simple process.
Okay, you're convinced, I can tell. So the next logical question is, how do you actually do it? Well, the best part is that the process itself is incredibly simple. Let's walk through the plan to build a stronger plant in about 10 days.
So how long does this transformation take? You're looking at about 7 to 10 days. That's it. In just over a week, you can take your tender little seedlings and turn them into garden-ready champions.
So here's a rough idea of what that looks like. You'd start on day 1 with maybe just a couple of hours outside in a shady, protected spot. Easy.
A few days later, on day 4, you bump that up to maybe 5 hours, and they can get some partial sun. By day 7, they're getting pretty tough, so they can handle 8 hours with even more sun. And by day 10, they're fully acclimated. They're ready for their new home. The absolute key here is just that gradual increase.
And really, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? This isn't about adding some huge, complicated chore to your garden prep. It's just about a little bit of smart preparation up front.
Seriously, taking the time to harden off your seedlings is one of the single most effective things you can do to guarantee a strong start for your garden. It perfectly bridges that gap between the safe nursery and the big, wide world of your garden plot.
And that kind of leaves us with a bigger thought, you know? This whole idea of gradual preparation, it doesn't just apply to plants. So, I'll leave you with this question. What's a small prep step in your own life or your own projects that ends up making the biggest difference in the final outcome? Something to think about.